Hi there, this is Dr. Everybody with Project 6. This project will be using lists, which was a powerful data structure you'll be using a lot in the rest of the semester. We're actually starting a sequence of 4 projects where we're going to read in some data, do something with them, and then plot it or print, display, whatever. The first 2 will deal with lists. The second 2 will deal with dictionaries, and we'll sort of have a simpler list for Project 6, a more complex list for Project 7, simpler dictionary for Project 8, more complex dictionary for Project 9. So with that, what are we doing here? So again, we've grabbed some real data. This is some website usage data from around the world, and we're going to do some simple analysis of it. So what do we have? We're going to have a CSV file, that is a comma-separated value file. We're in fact going to want to read it using what's known as the CSV reader, and so then you will do like 4 line in reader, as opposed to say 4 line in file or 4 line in FP or something like that, and then because we're doing the CSV reader, we have to then skip a line in a different way. So what are we going to do? We're going to go through a file and we're going to pull out tuples where we have the rank, the website, the traffic, the page views, and the country. And which entries are these? Well, we have a table up here. So for example, a country rank is at index 0 and it's an int. The website is at index 1 and so on. With a couple of notes here, you got to watch out for some internal spaces. And we have a few we have multiple CSV files here that we have. The big one and then some smaller ones to exercise. If you download the tiny one, it looks something like this. And what we want to do then is consider the let's see if I can bring this down here. Here we go. When I look at this, we have so this is the tiny one, and so the country rank is at index 0. There it is, country rank. The website is there, index 1. Traffic rank is 14 over here, and notice we do have headers here to help us out. Average daily page views in 5, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. There it is. And finally, the country down in column 30. And here you can see in this tiny one, we have some countries, Afghanistan and Albania. So we are interested in the information out of those 5 columns, and we're going to make a tuple out of that. And then we're going to make a list of those tuples. All right, so that's the basic idea. Now, one of the first things we're going to do then, of course, we're going to have to open a file, and then we're going to read a file. And how is that going to look? Well, if we go to if I go to a one of the test files, right? You can click on it and find the test file. If I copied this and pasted it into a file, this is what it looks like. All right, so I'm going to make that go away, and let's take a look at the input and the output of this. So if we look at the test, so we see, this is listed as the instructor's data, so this is the correct one. Notice it's a list, and there's a tuple with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 entries in it. All right. And then, the next one is another tuple, and so on. And we ask you to sort them by rank and then by country name. Now, right away we see here I've got an Albania one. What happened to the Afghanistan one? Well, one of the things we tell you is that if there isn't data in a column, then we just ignore the whole line. So this line is ignored, and then when we sort by ranks, we find that this line 13 here, rank number 1 out of Albania, that's the first one. Then we grab those 5 columns that I mentioned as specified, and here's the data that we get. Now, be careful. Notice the data here is 262,029. Here in the actual file, there's a space in there. So one of the things you have to do is you notice in the column here with this data is you have to remove spaces from the inside. Strip won't do it. Strip only takes spaces off of either end. Doesn't take spaces off in the middle. So you'll want to do a remove to do that. So you're going to read through this file using the CSV reader, and then you're going to pick out values in the particular indices that we specify, and you're going to build a tuple such as we have here with 5 elements in it, and then outside of the loop you start with an empty list, and then you keep appending tuples on there. So your loop goes, it reads a line, reads the 5 individual data items, builds a tuple in the correct order, and then appends those onto a list, and then at the end we ask you to sort the list. Right? And one of the reasons we ask you to sort the list is that gives us a way to actually do a comparison if they've been sorted. And we tell you that what we're going to do is sort this list in ascending order, that is in increasing order, by country rank, and then alphabetically by country. So first by rank, and then by country. And to do that, we use this thing called item getter. And what that says is that this would say that I am going to sort first on item 1, or index 1. So if this was the tuple, we'd be sorting first on the website and then by traffic. But that's not what we tell you to do. We tell you to do by country rank, index 0, and then alphabetically by country, that's index 4. Right? And so this is a nice thing. This is an argument into your sort or sorted. So this little thing here goes inside there between the parentheses, right? But with the appropriate index on there. And notice that there are things like, if it can't be converted to an integer, such as the NA, we skip. Notice, cannot be converted to an integer. That just begs you to do a try and then try to convert whatever it is in there into an integer. Whatever the data item is that you're dealing with. So that's a try except blah blah blah. And then you have to take appropriate action, which is to skip the row. How do you skip the row? I'll let you figure that out. Hopefully you know how to do that now. All right, so there's a little bit about how you might read the file. Then what do? We have some things like, all right, this list that I just created, a list of tuples that I just created, that comes into here. There's the list that I read in from my my reading function. So that's a list of tuples, right, that I created. And then we provide a string that's a country. So that might be like Afghanistan or Algeria or United States or whatever. All right. And what we want you to do is find the top sites for that country, the top 20. All right. And so and then we return the list sorted, in this case, by the country rank in increasing order. So these are one of the nice things about this function one of the nice things about this list is that we already sorted it, and it's been sorted by rank. So I just go through this list, selecting by the country, and build a new list. And this is a pretty common thing that we do. So you start with an empty list, you loop through. Every time you find a site for that country, you add it onto our list, and then we sort it. And what do we sort by? We're going to sort by the rank, right? We're going to be sorted by the rank in increasing order. And now, how might that look in practice? Well, what I did was I went into I grabbed the test for this, and I grabbed the data that was being used in the test, and I'm putting it into the shell here. Right? So what do I have? So I can look through this. So I have a bunch of tuples in my data, and I can go and print those tuples. All right. If I get my syntax right here, I go through and I can print all of those. If I look at this, oh, look at that. There's some information for France. So using my up arrow, I can get the loop that I have. I can say something like, okay, so that is the last item in the tuple. So if tuple, that's 4, is equal to France, let's print it. And it does. It prints France. And I could, if I wanted to, I could say, well, let's instead see what happens if I do Afghanistan. All right. So I get that. Now it'd be nice to put this into a list. How might I put it into a list? Well, L is a lousy name for a list, but I will use it now anyways. And I can go through. And this time, instead of printing my tuple, let's take my list and append that tuple on there. Okay. And now if I look at my list, it has all my items in there. If I now sort that, and I can either use sort or I can use sorted. Sort will actually change it. All right, so that, and sorted returns it. So there's my list. And if I don't give it any arguments, it will sort it by the first item, in this case, the rank, uh, I have other options. If I go to the code that we provide you, it does have this item getter on there. So let me copy that in here. So from operator, I get that. Oops. If I look at sorted L now, I can say key equals this item getter. Suppose I wanted to sort on, I don't know, the index 3. All right. Now, what I've done is in increasing order here, I now, there's 0, 1, 2, 3, so it's that column right there, and we see that's now in increasing order. It's not formatted very nicely. That's just the list in increasing order. And one of the things that I can do is I can say, all right, let's sort first on say column 1 and then on column 3. All right, and so what that does is, for example, here's a nice one that says first sort on index 1. That's the website, and we see here we've got 2bbcs.com, and then on column 3 we see that this one's 600,000 and that one is something like 24 million. So you can see that those are in increasing order there. So that's sorting first on item 1, and then if two things in item 1 are the same, sort them on item 3. So that's how the item getter works. And you can see then how I can go through this list as we read it in, select out a particular country, build a new list, and then sort. And then this one says that we only want the top 20 out of that, and there's multiple ways to only get the top 20. A slice is my favorite one. You could just build the list and stop adding to it when it's 20 if you're building it in the right order. There's a number of ways that you can do that. And finally, if we look at one of these samples, so how does your driving program work? Well, it will ask for a file, and here we're using the full set there. There's a menu, and then we make a choice. In this case, it's choice 1, top sites by country. That'll be the top 20 sites. We do give you formatting, and for the United States, there's the top 20 sites in there. And then if you choose a queue, it will quit. And you can see we've now gone and added commas back in there. This is ordered by something. I don't even remember however we specified to order that. And there you go. That's what you do. It's or top views, top sites by views, and we have functions to do each of those. Here we go. So we open the file, we read a file. There's one there to remove duplicates. We got to do those. The top sites by country and the top sites by page views, and then there's a main, and of course the magical few lines at the bottom that lets us test things. And we also gave you a prompt in here, and then we also give you strings, so that will help you in terms of getting everything formatted correctly. All right, hopefully that gives you enough to get started on.